of the Oathbreaker Monday, because it's Monday for you, but it's Tuesday for us.
It is
That'd
indeed.
be right, eh?
Yeah, it's Monday,
Yeah.
8:20 p.m.-ish. So, yeah, the team gets rights to name his game.
Tuesday has been awesome. I strongly recommend.
I'll have a game on Tuesday, Canadian time as well. But yes, Monday. All right, so back into the world of Aglarion, mighty adventurers. I hesitate to call you heroes because you've stumbled around from one thing to another. We had Torque off on a rescue mission that went horribly wrong. He's spent the last years in recovery from I imagine it's sort of like the journey of the heroine in Kill Bill. What was her name? Whatever her name was, and she starts with not being able to wiggle her toes and eventually kills Bill. I don't think I need to give spoilers for that. It's an old movie. And of course we had Pastor Timothy, good old Pastor Timothy, who got into a bit of a spat with a member of the Gorso family and effectively was running for his life before being saved by, I forget their name, but the proprietor of the brothel inside of Gorso.
The old mate Grackles.
There we go. And Hector, beloved son of Lord Ziamandos Gorso, kind of screwed up the removal of the horn of a unicorn, and was probably thrown out the window, his arm chopped off and thrown out the window of the Gorso mansion inside of the Gorso town. We more or less fell upon Pastor Timothy, and the two managed to escape, but they're in a very sorry state. And who do we miss? Of course, Baelson. We met Baelson wandering the wilderness, where he looked like he was about to get killed by a bunch of wolves, which are problems for level 1 characters. And things were going poorly for Baelson before he was approached by members of a group calling themselves the Uncanny Vagabonds, with Taris and Gren and Whispering Winds and one other...
Morgan.
There we go, Morgan, not Mulligan. Morgan. And did a scam around some watches. And now Baelson and Torque the Inquisitor have both joined up with Ballantor Wordsplasher's tour for the city. Torque, because the city is very different than it was 20 years ago when he had his injuries. And Baelson, new to the town. But where we picked it up last week, we had last session rather, not last week. It's been a beat or two.
Couple of days.
We had Pastor Timothy and Hector. This unusual alliance. Hector is still without an arm, and they stumbled into the cave more or less exhausted. They've been running from the Gorsos, who have various reasons for getting at both of them, so not friendly to the Gorso, even though Hector himself is a Gorso. And you stumble into this cave. Pastor Timothy, you're half elf, is that right, Pastor Timothy?
Yes, I am, yes.
Now, while this might look obvious on the artwork, I imagine only Hector and Pastor Timothy, in fact, probably only Pastor Timothy can see this. You yourself, Pastor Timothy, find yourself suspended in this goo, unable to move. But Hector, for some reason, you pass through this goo, stumbling around in the dark. You feel the slime on your body. You call for Pastor Timothy, but hear nothing in response. What do you do? Hector, you're covered in goo, lost in a cave, blind as the proverbial bat. What do you do, Hector Gorso?
I'm gonna try and get myself some light. I'm gonna use chromatic orb fire. So I can see a little bit.
Okay. Let me give you some light source. What am I doing? There we go, light source. So a chromatic orb links up, and you see this massive gooey substance with bodies and skulls, and Pastor Timothy, who doesn't seem to be dying. He's just struggling as if trapped in jello. What do you do here?
Another fine mess you've got us in. Competence. Thought you could see in the dark.
No response from Pastor Timothy.
I'll try and make my way around it. Is that possible?
Sure. I should be able to just move your token there, Riley. There we go. Yeah, you'd have to go through the goo to go that way.
Not touching this. Just lemon. You better not bloody die. I need you.
No way around the goo either way. It's like completely clogging up the chamber.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just go through it, trying to get as little amount of it on me as possible.
Okay, try and force your way through it. Sure, make me a strength, an athletics check, we'll say, as you try and squeeze past it without getting terribly affected by it. So athletics check, please, Riley. Try as you might. Here's to me no way through. The jelly references is a fairly accurate one. You try and push through it, but it just doesn't want to move. And you wonder for a second how you got through it in the first place if you're finding it so difficult to go back the other way. But go back the other way you cannot. Not at least now anyway. No way through it seems, Hector.
Oh, well, I guess I'll reach out and touch it with my hand and see how sticky it is.
It's not so much sticky, just like a big blob of jelly. You push against, goes whoop, 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 whoop. But it's not actually sticky.
How did you get yourself in this thing? I do see a path over here, so you stay right there. I don't suppose you could move anyway. I guess I'll go deeper into the cave.
Okay, sure. Stumbling through with your one arm. You come across a watery cavern. It's filled with water. You see three kind of waterfall type things feeding into this pool. And you see the pool. Can you see over there? Yes, over here would be the other side of the pool. You're not quite sure what to do, but that appears to be the only way forward.
Things I have to do. I'll swim through it. The one arm. I have to make a check for that.
Okay. Well, make me a strength saving throw. So as you're getting towards the middle of the pool, a mini-like vortex, almost like a whirlpool, pops up, and you are sucked under the water for what seems like, you don't know, it could be a minute, could be 10 minutes, could be longer. But as you're about to lose consciousness and you take 7 points of damage, you are spat up on the other side of the pool. Damp, injured, not looking good. And worse yet, you see these strange creatures.
Did you say
appear-
7 or 6?
7.
What?
And you pop up, and these strange, grayish-looking ooze things slide towards you. And as they see you with your one arm, they kind of say in this strange language that you don't know that you've ever heard a language like this before, Hector, but understand that you do. It's a very slimy language, for want of a better word. And it says to you, have you come to worship the blind god as well?
Yes.
Make a deception check, because I don't think you are Hector, but sure, make a deception check.
Ooh.
What is your name, traveler?
My name is Hector.
Why have you come here, Hector? It is not to worship the blind god. We'd recommend you did worship the blind god. But be truthful. The blind god may lack eyes, but he sees all.
Well, I simply don't see the point of that god. I'm kind of stuck here, you see.
You are stuck in more ways than you know. You seem to be lacking an arm, Hector. That is unfortunate. But the blind god has many gifts. Are you interested in his gifts?
Yes.
Come
I'm good for
forward.
another deception.
Sure.
Second time. Oh no.
Come forward, Hector. We are sure he wishes to meet you. As you step forward, they all form a gooey wall around you, just surrounding you with this writhing, massive goo. You resist? What do you do?
What are you doing? I have a fireball. I will blast you. Get off of me.
We really wish you to meet the blind god. If you do not wish to meet the blind god, then this is where your story ends, Hector.
I'll stop resisting.
Before there were like 4 separate entities surrounding you. Now they've kind of formed one gooey thing and completely surround you like in a globe of goo. And try as you resist, you can't. For a moment you think maybe this is the end, was a bad decision. But after a while, the grey goo disappears from you, and you find yourself in a different part of the cavern. Once again, there's a gooey thing there, and it's large and it's messy. And it says, Hector, what is it that you desire most of all?
Desire revenge.
Revenge? You are but a cripple. How can you have revenge with only one arm?
I don't know.
A great gift. Stiff Leopard. I have a great gift that I could give you, Hector. I can give you power, but it will cost you something. I can regrow that arm better than it was before, but it will cost you something.
What will it cost me?
Yeah, so I'm just thinking for a second. As the I require two things from you, Hector. I require your unwavering devotion to the blind god. This will bring you power in time, Hector. Do you accept the first part of my bargain?
Worship your god.
You don't
Not like
worship.
I'm with a religious person or anything.
Sorry, you would worship the blind god? Says Malcolm.
Yeah.
The second part of my deal, Hector. This is a continuing bargain. There'll be more prices to pay down the road, but more power will come as well. The first such sacrifice you need to make is you need to give me an eye. Not both. For now, just one.
Does it have to be my eye?
Oh, you are a smart one. It needs to be one of your two eyes. Good clarification, though.
And you'll regrow my arm if I do.
Regrow your arm better than it was before.
You have yourself a deal.
And with that, a slime. Which eye do you want to lose, Hector? Your left or your right? I'll give you the choice. It's like right eye sucked out, and the entire eye is ripped out of your socket. Blood just going streaming down your face, and your eye's gone. You can still see well out of the other eye, but the pain eventually overtakes you. You've been spat out, you've been drowned, you've been wandering in the wilderness what seems like an age, and you pass out. When you come to,
Pyramid scheme.
you find yourself back onto the plains of Igleria. Since this was a character choice, I'm going to ask Hector, what does his new arm look like, Hector?
A tentacle?
Yes.
Oh, you're a sucker.
Like an octopus tentacle or a squid tentacle?
Yes, a big, girthy octopus tentacle.
Big Yeti, yeah.
What do you see from your perspective, Pastor Timothy? You see Hector with this octopus arm, and he walks through this huge gelatinous cube thing, grabs you around the waist, pulls you out into the plains of Eglarion once more, and at this point, Hector, you come forth, lacking an eye but gaining a new arm, with Pastor Timothy at your side.
Hector, my boy, is that you?
Yes. Need some medical attention on my eye.
There's something different about you. I can't put my finger on it, though. Oh,
No
that's
time
right.
for your-
It's a bloody great octopus tentacle on your arm.
No time
What
for your
happened?
jokes. I think I might have joined a cult.
Well, haven't we all had those weekends? No worries, son. We'll get through it. As long as you didn't promise them anything weird.
I think I may have promised my undying devotion.
Oh, just your undying devotion. And your soul as well, was it?
Isn't that just standard?
Aye. Well, at least you've still got your soul. Well, lad. We better get you covered up if we're going to pass through any inhabited places. And I'll offer my cloak to try and cover up the octopus tentacle arm. And say, well, has anything changed for you now? Are you still set in your path?
Yes, I think we're quite far off of any path.
Aye, I was talking about your path of revenge against your father.
Yes, this is still a very present concern of mine.
Well, I think I'd better stick around and watch out for you then.
Don't you
Onward
stop
to the
trying to
peak.
convert me to your religion.
Oh, you've got enough going on right now, I think, my son. But if you ever do need, want to talk about any religious stuff, then I'm right here.
So you continue your wanderings, still both a bit of a mess. I mean, I don't imagine, oh, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't imagine that Timothy or Hector have much experience surviving in the outdoors. Pastor Timothy is a man of the cloth, used to working a congregation, not working a survival strategy. And tell me if I'm wrong, Riley, but I imagine Hector was more or less raised with a silver spoon in his mouth, not wanting for much. Will that be fair?
Yes.
So, in other words, you're both useless outside. But stumble across the plains of Eglarion, you do. You stumble through the thornwoods, thick brambles, spikes everywhere, and you come out bloody. Go through the King's Forest, which is far more hospitable, but still a forest. By sheer dumb luck, you manage to catch a rabbit or two to keep you going. Forage for berries and bits and pieces and things like that. And eventually you leave King's Forest into the Oathbreaker Plains, one of the bread baskets of Oathbreaker and the greater areas of Eglarion. So you see farmers working fields, you see livestock, cows, sheep, goats, things like that. And you know that Odin beer would be almost its size makes it a place worth considering to be lost in the crowd before you decide what your next move is. And you stumble into the city of Odinbeer. And it's alive. It's a bustling city. You come in. Do I have a marker here? I don't. You come in. So let me see my marker here. Come in via the Crown Gate. It's a bit bigger. Over here. And they welcome you in. There's no taxes or paid to anything. The guards welcome you in. If you're interested in hiding your unusual arm, Hector, can you make me a stealth check? Stealth check, please.
Yeah, I would imagine that my arm is just kind of wrapped around, so it looks normal-ish, but maybe a bit larger than the other one. Let's go for
still in a long sleeve shirt, as it were, but yeah, okay.
Yes.
Still, let's see a stealth check because natural ones are fun.
Oh,
Don't raise an eye. Imagine you've kind of got your hand like this hidden within the sleeve of your other arm, and you go through. And Gorso, which both of you are familiar with, is more of a village than a city. And you enter the coin district and just a bustling hive of activity. People shouting deals, carts coming in bringing livestock, carts leaving empty and no doubt coming back with grains and all sorts of things that keep a city flowing. So as you stand on the precipice of Odinbeer, you do see a sign pop up. And you see a thing that says a shop called Totally Local. And you see a man there. Where is he gone? There is Bantalier Wordsplasher Stone Shield. And he comes up to you and says, "Oh, hello, good sirs. Welcome to the grand city of Odinbeer, the crown and the kingdom for Aglerion. We are blessed to be under a wonderful king, King Waldron Azanar, truly a great man. Tell me, friends, are you familiar with the city?" Does look a little bit like Black.
No, we're just tourists. We're tourists. We've heard wonderful things about the city. Haven't we, son?
Son? Yes, father.
I thought I'd bring young Hector here and to see the wonders of the city now that he's come of age.
Well, this isn't exactly the type of service I offer. I offer a tour of the city, give you an idea of the splendor that is Odinbeer. And it'd be my honor to show you around the kingdom itself for a mere silver piece.
Oh, that's a very good price. Now, before we go, would the tour go anywhere near any of the more fancier residences, like where the aristocrats would live?
That would be the High District, and yes, we'll be definitely going through there.
Okay, well, is there any way we can detour there? I'm not that fond of the puffs, I'd rather see the grit, the grime, where everyone, the real stuff happens in the city.
Stuff is a relative term. I mean, the High District also contains the Royal Palace, where the King, the Queen, and the Princess live. It was made by the legendary Master Alan the Constructor the first archmage of the monarchy. He constructed the palace, and it's truly a sight to behold. So if you don't want to see the muckety mucks, but I would recommend you at least come and see the palace.
Yes, that'd be fine. I think.
Right, well,
Basically, Malcolm trying to avoid one particular family.
What was that, sorry?
I'm trying to avoid one particular family.
Ah, yes. Yep, understood.
Oh, which family could that be?
And you, Wordsplasher has already got a couple of, he's got 4 people on the tour. You see Torque, of course. The players are familiar with Torque. And of course, Baleson as well. And there's also 2 gnolls there. And that maybe raises some eyebrows. And Wordsplasher, I know what you're going to think. Gnolls, ravenous animals and all that. Well, King Waldron Azanar has a very open door policy. Everybody is welcome here. All religions are to be respected. Of course, we all, if you know our history books, remember the Shining Age, as it were, where the worshippers of the Redeemer ruled this land in a cruel theocracy until the first king, Arlen the Constructor, overthrew the brutal theocracy, which is now why we're so open. All religions are welcome. All species are welcomed. These are truly glorious times.
Very good to hear. And my friends, my hyena-shaped friends, I want to let you know I would never judge you before I got to know you.
And this is Gitter. You look delicious. I mean, you look wonderful. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I've got to shake their hands and see what happens.
They present. They're confused. So what, make me an animal handling check. We'll call them animals, even though they're not animals, but they're kind of animals. Make me an animal handling check.
Very middling.
They approach you. They don't shake your hands. They give you a sniff and says, "Well, we're pretty let's say not the best hygienic, but you don't smell too good yourself, friend. You've been living off the land, it seems."
The road takes a toll, my friend. The real road takes a toll. Hopefully, a good night's sleep in a nice city hotel will do it for us, though.
Wordsplasher.
Do you have any recommendations for accommodations?
Yes, I do. I have the Lucky Leap Tavern. You'll notice if you look on your map, it gives you all colour maps of the city. If you notice, I've highlighted 44 over here. That is the Lucky Leap Tavern. I couldn't recommend it any more than I already have.
Excellent.
And if you hover over 44 or hover over any number, by the way, you'll see what the actual pin refers to. All right, so before we start on this tour, I believe it's Torque. And Torque, it is a pleasure to see you on your feet. How is the recovery, Torque?
I am well. I hobble a little bit, but I'm well.
Well, it's good that you're well. I mean, we all know the history books about how you and some friends heroically headed to save the Queen, which you did. Of course, the son was lost, but we all appreciate the effort you made. Thank you for your service, Torque.
Yes,
I wish I could think of those days more favorably, but I do not.
Oh, well, you're well regarded anyway. Anyway, unless anybody's got any questions, Why don't we get this tour started?
Wonderful.
So, let me formally welcome you. Welcome all you visitors to the splendid Odin beer. Whether you be humanoids, sprites, or shapeshifters in an altered form, I'm sure that's none of you. Alright, well, let's get started. This is the coin district that we are in. This is very much the business part of it. This is where, if you're looking for anything, this would be the place to find it. I can recommend the Emporium of Marvelous Rarities, number 14 on your map, for your magical items purchases, and common items are available here as well. And here we have one of the finest wineries in all of Aglarion, the Hills Nectar Winery. Now, I don't presume to know the contents of your purse, but these ones here are quite pricey. And as Wordsplasher is continuing to tell you about the coin district, a rather, shall we say, rotund gentleman comes out. He's almost as wide as he is tall. He's grossly overweight, morbidly obese, but yet he's dressed in the finest of robes. And he says, we have some visitors, Wordsplasher. Thank you for showing them to the winery. My name is Zajir. Domorin. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome new people here. Oh, we have a religious man. To whom do I have the pleasure of addressing?
My name is Timothy, Pastor Timothy.
It's an absolute pleasure to meet you. Any friend of the cloth is a friend of the Domorin party. And as you no doubt know, being an educated and religious man you are, there's the world-famous Wiltemma Ball happening in a couple of days. I'm not sure you're quite up to scruff to visit the ball, but you happen to be in luck. I'm planning a pre-ball activity. A get-together, a way to know each other, less formal than the ball itself, and it'd be an absolute pleasure, Pastor Timothy, if you could join us and perhaps give a prayer over the proceedings before they begin.
Well, I would be very happy to just stop by and say a few words, I think, but balls and all that sort of stuff, it's not really my thing.
It's just
Wiltammer, you say.
Well, the Wiltammers, yes, generous family, over the years have supported so many charities. And the Wiltammer is a way of saying thank you to all those who have donated to the causes that are precious to their hearts. But this is not the Wiltammer Ball, it's not associated with the Wiltammers. It's something us Domorins do in preparation for the ball. I have your word that you can bless our proceedings, Pastor Timothy?
So you're saying there's no real actual kind of crossover, it's just a kind of an event that happens adjacent to this
Adjacent
Wiltammer Ball?
is the perfect word, yes. The Wiltammers have no direct association with it.
I cannot see any harm in attending. Isn't that right? Yeah. So everyone else keen to go to this thing? I hope I won't be the only one.
I am wondering who will be attending your, shall we say, small ball, Zajir?
We are the Domorin family. We are my three brothers and our mother. We own quite a bit of wealth. We're inviting several muckety mucks And probably not many people from the High District will be coming, more from the North District. And Wordsplasher piped up, oh, it's the North District. That's where people who want to live in the High District live. The merchants, the rich people, but not quite rich enough to live in the High District. Yes, indeed, those type of people will be attending. If you wish to make contacts, if you wish to learn some people of some influence in the city, then please come. And I can't help but notice that the famous Torque the Inquisitor is with us as well. It is an absolute pleasure to see you on your feet. And thank you for saving the Queen. A pity you couldn't have done a little bit better and saved the prince as well, but the Queen is saved. We have a princess, we have an heir, and we have you to thank for that, Torque. It would be an honor if you could join our proceedings as well.
That's me no honor because I failed in my mission. But it's here, and you have used to it, then I pledge it to you.
Fantastic. Well, the mission was to save the Queen. In that sense, it was successful. Of course, poor Prince Krasner, we mourn him to this day. Beloved Prince of the Kingdom, now lost forever. Now, I don't know who you other ruffians are. Who are you? He says, looking towards Baleson.
Well, you see, I'm part of a fantastic travelling troupe, the Uncanny Vagabonds, and I'm here, if I may, to see if anyone might perhaps sponsor our little activities in this fine city. And so I would be delighted to attend your soiree if you will have me.
If you're looking for sponsors, if you're looking for donors, then the Domarin pre-ball activities is exactly what you are looking for. So, Baleson, he says, learning your name instantly, even though he didn't say it, you are most welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, thank you very much. I look forward to attending it.
And I'll kind of do an aside to Hector just quietly and tell him that if you mean to overthrow your father, you'll need powerful allies. Maybe this is where we start to find them. What say you, young master?
I didn't quite catch that.
If you plan to overthrow your father still, you'll need powerful allies. We'll need someone backing us.
Don't just plan to overthrow him. Our Gorso family is going to need to be reworked. So many of us running amok. Ruin the name.
Well, there's a lot of work to do, and we'll need a lot of support. So perhaps hobnobbing with these mucky-mucks is not such a bad idea.
It's not the worst idea you've ever had.
Thank you, young.
Bargained for some gold to have some sort of guarantee from this. But I will admit, you've done okay.
Thank you, young master. That's very, very kind of you to say.
Who is this young gentleman? He reaches out a hand to shake what would be your tentacle.
I'm going to reach out with the other arm.
Oh, that's okay. Not used to the customs of the city. That is no problem. May I inquire your name?
I am Hector.
My name doesn't come from...
Hector. This is my son, Hector Timothy.
Sorry, some weird...
What the hell is...
Weird sounds from Talk the Inquisitor.
We have a robot orc.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
You have a voice changer on.
Timothy, yes, this is Hector Timothy. He's my son. Just come to the city.
All right, well, it's an absolute pleasure to have you all, particularly our good pastor friend here, and Talk the Inquisitor, and of these riffraff I've associated with you. They're more than welcome to attend as well. So be here at nightfall, and we look forward to your blessing, Pastor Timothy, and we look forward to your presence, Torque. And with that, Zajir Domarin retreats back into the Hill's Nectar Winery. Well, that was quite something, wasn't it? The Domarins, very, very powerful rich family, and yes, you should consider it an honor to be invited to such a place. Anyway, let's carry on with the tour. Tell me, Pastor Timothy, does the Church of the Redeemer look fondly or down upon gambling? What's its position?
Well, the church has an official position wherein it frowns upon gambling, but it is open to interpretation. Obviously, redemption itself is a gamble that one soul will be able to rise above the hubble and bustle of the world and the toils and troubles of the world, and in that case, aren't we all just gambling every day with our very lives?
I'm more looking for a yes or no answer, not so much a sermon, but thank you for sharing.
I will not partake myself, but you go ahead.
Well, this is the 999's Gambling Hall, Area 5 on your map. And at the 999 Gambling Hall, the dice will roll and call, a place of fortune and chance where thrill awaits you all. And with that, a figure comes out from the 999 Gambling Halls. And it's a bugbear. And once again, further indication that this city is very open-minded to all races and species and religions and all folks. And Golfer says, I couldn't help but overhear the conversation. Tell me, Pastor, what is the church's position on usury? I.e. money lending.
Once again, it's officially it's against it. Officially, it's against it. Although it's a very it's against it. It's a terrible thing. It's a plague on the world.
People to be open-minded. If any of you are short of coin, then step into my office. I can make loans straight away today for 1,000 gold pieces. Now tell me, which one of you wouldn't want 1,000 gold pieces in your pocket? Who wants to talk to old Golfer?
I'm sorry, but as much as I'd love to have that, I'm fearful of your rates.
The rates are very
and
reasonable.
I don't feel I have the skills or anything else to offer in which to get those 1,000 gold pieces back. So I'm sorry, but Golfer, I'll say no.
Can I tempt any one of the rest of you? Just a few 1,000 gold pieces. You can use that to double it easily enough in a city as rife with opportunity as Oathbreaker. Anybody?
I'm afraid I don't think you're going to have any much business here, Golfer.
That's all right. You know where to find me. And if you need to gonna test old Lady Luck, then you know where to find me. and he slinks back into the 999 gambling hall. Yes, Golfer, a famous moneylender in the city. But let's carry on our tour of the city. And he takes you through the coin district, and you see many shops, some of them upmarket, like Starbright jewelry, but some just people trading everyday goods. And he takes you across into the North District along the short road. And he says, well, this is indeed the rich district. This is where people, the nobles, the merchants, all those type of people live. They're wealthy, but not wealthy enough to move into the high district. But still, you notice the streets are well cleaned. You notice there's city guards wandering around. A very safe district. Very, very pleasant area. And I guess the highlight of the coin district is this place here, the Monster Menagerie, the world famous zoo of Oathbreaker. Rumors have it that they've captured a pair of mating triceratops. So perhaps once the tour is over, you can go visit and learn about the triceratops. And I hear they have all sorts of exotic creatures here. Now, this is often a highlight of the tour. And he takes you across to a bakery. And written on top of the sign, it says Halfling's Treasure Bakery. And Wordsplasher says, at the Halfling's Treasure Bakery, it is plain to see. Gold pastries and their pies are their sweet speciality. And he opens the door, and you see two halflings, presumably a married couple, and there's just rows of candy in there. And Wordsplasher opens the door and says, Time, Gaio. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you. To see you again. I brought some people here. Perhaps you'd like to sample their wares. And Time, the husband, says, oh yes, please come in and try it. We have some delicious treats for only 2 copper pieces a taste.
Just looking at my inventory. Baleson decides that he would love to try some of their fine wares.
I give you a sampler for 5 copper pieces, and I'll include 3 candies in there for you.
That would be delicious. Thank you very much.
Would you like some treats, my boy?
I think my boy is eating dinner. Oh, there he is.
I'm going to glare at Pastor Timothy. We have limited money. You can spend your share if you wish, but don't come begging to me when you're starving.
Oh, kids these days, they grow up so fast. I'll get one of those samplers as well for me and the boy. Thank you very much.
So 5 copper pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The first one they give you, if you which point you try it, is called a loopy. And it's just like a round kind of candy. And as you put it in your mouth, it starts tasting like blueberry, then strawberry, then like honey, and thyme. So these are called loopies. You'll notice they cycle through the flavors as you eat them. Next one is a flat piece of chocolate, and you take it, and it wrinkles around in your mouth as you eat it. Yes, those are my specialities, the wrinklies. This is similar to Wonka bars. This is my snakies, and these ones kind of squirm around in your mouth and fold in on themselves over and over again. And as you're sampling it, the two gnolls, Gesher and Nesher, they sample it as well, and they spend too much money and buy a whole lot, and one of them ends up vomiting in the shop. And Gaio, the motherly, it's all right. I'll clean it up. Just make way. And she cleans it up. And she says, "Well, I'm my daughter, Byra. My poor sweet Byra. Excuse me." She rushes off crying to the back of the shop.
Tame, what is up with your daughter, did she say?
My daughter Byra. I heard what you said, Father, referring to Pastor Timothy as a religious figure. It's like what you said, Father. They grew up too quickly. I see, Byra, she always wanted to be an adventurer. She never wanted to take over the family business. And we tried to talk her out of it about how dangerous it can be to be an adventurer. And well, I'm sure you can relate, Father, but the more you tell your children not to do something, the more they're inclined to do it. Now, poor Byra, she heard of a creature that was ravaging Willow Creek. It had they spoke of a beast with the head of a lion that can swing its talons to hurl spikes the size of spears, and it was attacking the lumberjacks of Willow Creek. And Byra, being the lumberjack she was, she saw she could defeat this beast. And she headed off to Willow Creek, but this was days ago and she has not returned. We pray to all the gods that she might be safe, but we are simply worried sick about her. We are sure she's out there alive, but that is a matter of faith, not of any logic whatsoever. But these are our problems. I don't mean to burden you. Please have a free candy on us. We're sorry.
No, don't be sorry at all. A burden shared is a burden to have. And, you might have just come to the right place. That's terrible to hear about your daughter. This creature, you say, it's the head of a lion and spiked tail. That's a crazy thing.
Byra, she always been headstrong. I'm sure you can relate. And she always longed for adventure. And we argued and argued, and eventually she stormed off. I suspect to Willow Creek. But I'm worried. I hope she is fine, but I simply do not know.
Did she have compatriots? Did she have friends with her on this adventure, or was she just going by herself?
She just went by herself, headstrong, as I said.
Oh, tell you. Is it you she gets it from, or her father?
Oh, probably her mother. Mother is as stubborn as the day is long. Which is a blessing and a curse. She gets things done. Byra used to get... Byra does get things done. I refuse to speak about her in the past tense. She is out there somewhere. She is fine.
Hmm.
Do you mean we might have come to the right place?
Well, I'd have to talk to everyone, but I can't personally sit here and listen to this tale of woe and not feel moved by it, and feel the need to help.
Bless your heart.
I'll look around. look around at everyone and kind of try to gauge.
Well, I think that is true. If you caught the beast alive, of course, you understand how this might be secondary for us, but I'm sure the monster menagerie would pay a pretty penny for such a creature.
Of course, yes. Saving your daughter would be the first thing we'd want to do, but ¿Quién los dos? You know?
Taking tray out the drawer that looked like a they flung out of the door.
You can, of course, talk to your companions. That would be fine.
No, had that come time.
Your two Knoll friends.
Not now.
No, we're not interested in saving some girly girl. I'm sure she's been eaten already by this creature. Sure she's digested and been turned into poop. And with that, the mother burst out crying again and dashes back to the back of the shop. Oh, did I say something wrong? I mean, it's fact, isn't it? The creature ate her. She's no doubt pooped by now.
You've got a little bit to learn about hanging around in civilized company, my friends.
Civilized, my understanding is this is a place of logic and facts. I am just stating logic and facts. Byra is poo.
Maybe, but maybe not.
No, perhaps not. I mean, you didn't successfully turn that candy into poop, now did you?
Working on it.
No, but no, the other one, you spewed it up, didn't you? So it didn't even have a chance to become poop.
You're right. Maybe she's vomit. Wordsplasher says, "Oh well, this is I gotta say, Time and Gaio, they're the nicest people, and if you find it in your heart to search for their daughter and perhaps bring back this lion-headed beast, then perhaps it could go well for you. Perhaps we should continue the tour."
Just before you go, Wordsplasher, are these halflings? They make a pretty penny, do they?
Oh, they yes, they do. They're one of the in fact, they're the only candy shop in here. They do a reasonable business.
So I'm sure they'll be willing to reimburse us for our efforts were we to be successful.
I'm sure they'd be most generous. Perhaps in coin, perhaps in shop credit.
I see. I'll take that under advisement.
Right. Well, let's carry on the tour. So
just as we're going along, though, could I ask Wordsplasher if he'd have the name of a contact at the monster menagerie to talk to about this lion dude?
He gives you a name. Malcolm doesn't have it handy, but he gives you the name of the chief zookeeper for the monster menagerie.
Yeah, good on.
Carrying on through the north district, you see all the houses are well maintained. You see the police force, the local city guard is out there actually doing useful work. Pass through temples, you pass through old graveyards, you pass through parks, and eventually he stops here for a second and he says, "As you don't know, the history of Odin Bear is a long one. If you go way back in time, you'll recall that the city was ruled by the Dark Angels, the children of darkness and light. And the moon itself sheltered the sun. And they were brutal, oppressive, tyrannical lords. And this old wall," he points out to the old wall, "it was the original wall that they built around the city. So initially, the High District, which we'll visit soon, was a place of torture and horribleness. And of course, we all know the story of Sareth, the Lightbringer of the Redeemer, who shattered the moon and let the sun shine brightly. You look up into the sky and you see the moon is indeed shattered. That's in many pieces. And the old wall is there's something dark about it. If you look closely, you won't notice it moving, but then out of the corner of the eye, you swear a brick has moved just a little bit. It's most mysterious. Anyway, we come now to the Lucky Leap Tavern. This is run by a retired adventurer. His name is Ricio Tane. And it's not called the Lucky Leap Tavern for nothing. Depending on how well you jump, you might in fact give yourself a free drink. So who would like a chance at a free drink?
Baleson puts his hand up immediately. I'll give this a go.
Let me just... get the... Okay, so you open the door to the Lucky Leap Tavern, and you see written in chalk, oops, like there's a bit of chalk inside that, oops, I just lost it. Oh yes, you see a jump in a certain distance will get you a free drink. If you do a 10-foot jump, you get a small glass of beer. A 15-foot jump, a mug of ale. A 20-foot jump earns 2 mugs. And a 25-foot jump, which is very rarely seen, is rewarded with 3 bottles of red wine. And if anybody can hit a 30-foot marker, which has never been achieved so far, they will get an entire barrel of fine red wine from Ricio herself. And as you open the door, you see Ricio Tane there smiling behind the bar, telling a yarn or two, no doubt, about his adventuring days. And they see you hesitating on it. And they say, jump, 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 jump. And Wordsplasher said, well, you got nothing to lose, except possibly a free beer. Go on, take a jump. Let's see what you've got.
Okay, and so I sort of get myself ready and do a massive, as big a jump as I can.
You sprint and jump into it. Well, first of all, make me, strangely enough, an acrobatics check to see how well you land.
An acrobatics or an acrobatics?
Acrobatics. This is a graceful landing.
Okay. He heaves himself into the air and throws himself. Did that come through? Here it comes. Oh!
Well, you can explain your landing in a second, but I also want to know what your strength score is. Like, is it 10, 12, 15?
My strength... 17.
17. So that's how far you can jump during a running jump. So you soar over the small glass of beer, and you land just short of getting 2 mugs of ale. But the whole crowd cheers. Ricio Tane comes and taps you on the back, says, oh, what a beautiful jump, Governor. You have a mug of ale on the house. And describe what your natural 20 landing looks like, Baleson.
Oh no, I just land with the gracefulness of a cat. It's like kind of like imagining in a diver and they make no splash at all. It's like there's not a single mote of dust that's being disturbed. I just land as if I'm just floating on the air, and then suddenly I'm touching it, and I yell to the bar, the uncanny vagabonds are in. Come and see our show, our fine tumbling and games and everything like that. So please, the uncanny vagabonds are in town.
Stick. Oops. And everybody gives a cheer as Rissiotan says, "Well done, Governor. Well done, the Governor." And he pushes a mug of ale into your hands. A big, huge mug of ale. It looks delicious.
And then with a flourish, I try and sort of tumble it into my mouth in a sort of bar flaring manner, and then drink it.
Or an acrobatics of a natural 20, absolutely. You do that with aplomb. Wordsplasher, who
It's
else?
down, and I drink,
Look, you
and
got
then
a
I
free
bow
mug
to
of
the
ale.
crowd.
They're loving you, Balson. What about the legendary Torque the Inquisitor? I reckon. To go.
I'm not as nimble as I once was. So I
If you're
will
half as
take a
nimble
couple of
as you
steps
used to
back.
be, you're twice as nimble as I am. So take a leap. So make me an acrobatics check, Torque the Inquisitor. See about your landing.
Yep. Not sure why that's not coming through. Oh no, here we go.
Had to stumble at the end. It's not too bad. You stumble, but you don't quite fall over. And what's your strength score, Torque?
13.
13. So you don't jump quite as far as Balson, but you jump a good 13 feet. And Rissiotan puts his arm around you. In fact, he steadies you as you're about to fall headlong into a pile of patrons enjoying their meals. Well done, lad. I tell you what, wasn't the best sleep, but you still qualify for a small glass of beer. Here you go. And he pushes it in his hand. There you go, Governor. Drink up.
Well met, and thank you. And I will drink the tankard.
What about you, young lad? How about you having a leap? Earn some ale, put some hair on that chest of yours.
I'll go for a leap.
Make me an acrobatics check. Oh, yep, perfect landing. Not quite as good as Balson's, but still pretty good. And what's your strength score, Hector?
9.
Jump and leap. It's a beautiful leap, but you fall up just short of earning any type of free privilege. Better luck next time, son. Better luck next time. What about you, Father? I believe the Redeemer once turned water into wine. You, interested in taking the leap? Oh, I see you've taken a vow of silence, Father. You're muted, Vinny, if you're talking.
Sorry, yeah. I'll say, well, boys, I'm not much for a drink myself, but I'll have a cup of tea, and I'll just hop over the threshold with one foot.
Cup of tea, of course. A copper piece, and I'll get you a cup of tea.
That'd be grand.
Get me a drink as well. I'll take a mug of ale.
Are you sure you're old enough to have an ale there, son? Well, we are on holiday. Why not?
It's another 2 copper pieces for a good mug of ale for Hector. And research.
I'm not going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to drink it. Going to head my way over to Balson and give it to him and start up a conversation. He seems very driven by money. I think I can work with that.
Well, I don't mind if I do. I'll gladly have this glass of ale. Thank you. Fine, sir. And he tries to look you in the eye, trying to sort of get a decent look at your face under the cloak.
Yeah.
Have you had a wee accident there, son? Have your travels not been kind to you?
No, they haven't been the greatest.
I'm sure there is a fine tale attached to that injury you've suffered, your ocular injury, but perhaps another time when we know each other better. Cheers, and he takes the glass of ale and drinks it.
Rhys Tane is a fantastic host. He makes small talk with all of you. He seems to like calling people governor, and he makes you feel welcome, and you get some good vibes about this this tavern. You learn that Rhys Tane used to be an adventurer, perhaps something some of you aspire to be, but he's been retired for a number of years now. The Lucky Leap Tavern is his retirement plan, as it were. And Wordsplasher says, well, when you're ready, gentlemen, we can proceed with the tour.
Certainly. As I say, Ricio, if you'd want some entertainment, we can call upon my compatriots to provide some here at this fine establishment. Although I have to let you know, we are a group of tumblers, and so we might just outleap you out of business.
Why, welcome all visitors. So if you wish to bring your merry troop of men here, that'd be most welcome. And with that...
Buxton notes it down as there's something that it's not quite what his mission was, but he definitely he knows that the group wouldn't mind at least one free drink by showing off their leaping prowess.
Fantastic. With that, Wordsplasher leads you back onto the streets of Odenbeer, once again a bustling city. You're still in the North District. And you hear a public announcement. Not sure where it's on its map, but if you find somewhere called the Minaret of the Speaker, it's like a public address system, almost like a town crier. And while there's one particular minaret, it echoes across the entire city. And Wordsplasher goes on to explain that this is yet another invention of the first Archmage of the city, Ireland the Constructor. How we can make this public address system while not blaring out to a loud volume. It's a nice comfortable volume that can be heard across the city. And the news bulletins, they talk about the upcoming Wildhammer Ball and how you need an invitation to go, don't just turn up. They talk about the 16th birthday of Princess Athena coming up and how that will be celebrated across the city. And they also mention that in a few days the King's Game is coming up. Now, I just posted in Discord a PDF. Come up?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
I see it now. So, this is the King's Games. Is that the one I want? Yes. So there's a royal procession, there's a battle of the tipsy tune, a nimble eagle, and all sorts of fun activities, all sponsored by the Emporium of Marvelous Rarities. There's a chance for the city to celebrate their king, King Waldron Azanar, and all the good things about him. And it culminates in the Tournament of Champions, which is effectively a knockout fighting ring. Like, you have 8 people, and the winners of that goes into the next round, and the winner of that goes into the next round. And for years and years and years, Wordsplasher explains this has happened. No one has ever died because there are clerics on hand, so it's never really a battle to the death. And how King Waldron has won it year after year after year. And the prize for winning the Battle of the Champions is an audience with the king. But the joke around town is this is always an audience of one, because the king has won it year after year. Which speaks to nobody really minds it because they love their king, and everybody really expects it because King Waldron is quite the expert swordsman. So the King's Games is coming up in a few days. There'll be festivities across the city, and you hear people already talking about it. And needless to say that you bunch of yahoos will get a chance to compete in the Battle of Champions at some point. So that's
Do we know about the bells yet at all, Malcolm? Those bells, are they like sort of chits to exchange for rarities?
It's
Or
time.
do you think perhaps time?
Ah, is
Time
that the
is that-
time? Oh, bugger.
like 9
Bells
on the
o'clock, 10
minaret?
o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, time.
How's
Yep.
bells? Yeah. Hey, just a question. In the Lucky Leak Tavern, were the patrons quite well to do?
All sorts.
Okay, all sorts.
All sorts. Yep, there's some
That's it.
rich people there, some average people there. Yeah, a lot of people looking for rumors of treasures or monsters and things like that. So a lot of adventurers as well.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, now it's time to have a look around the High District. Now, technically, we're not allowed in here, but Wordsplasher has ways of getting in here. Oh, hello, guards! We have some people here who wish to have a look around the magnificent place that is the High District. Oh, bloody hell, Wordsplasher, not this again. What type of riffraff have you bought this time? Oh, we've got also. Oh, look, we've got Talk the Inquisitor here. Surely you've heard of his deeds. Oh, that's interesting. But I'm more interesting in this fella. What's your name, father?
My name is Timothy. Pastor Timothy. I'm from far away from here.
We welcome.
Lovely city you've got here.
Oh, look, we welcome all religions here, as you no doubt know. What god do you worship?
Well, in my travels in my life, I found the path of the Redeemer. The light of the Redeemer has given me a lot of faith and comfort.
What are your plans here in the city, Pastor?
Well, I'm just really showing my son around. It's a tourists mainly, you know. But I'll always lend a helping hand when I can, you know.
We're at the House of Healing. Old Oathbreaker Onamail, the dwarf, he's a follower of the Redeemer. Would you be assisting him in his activities? Old Oathbreaker. And if you remember, this was the dwarf that helped Torque recover. That was the first face he saw after coming up from his coma. You'll be helping out Oathbreaker Onamail, I assume? Helping him with
I'm
his
sure
religious duties?
I'll pay old Oathbreaker Onamail a visit. Yes, definitely. We're on this tour right now, just getting my bearings in the city.
Oh, of course, I understand, but
That I've never been to before.
you've never been before, but you've already admitted you'll be helping out Oathbreaker Onamail. I should just keep your tour group here for a little bit. Pastor Timothy, was it? Please come with me.
Okay. Oh, can I bring my son? Actually, no. You stay here. You stay here with these nice fine men, and I'm sure it won't be long.
Trust me, I'll keep your old man safe. And he grabs you like by your arm, kind of upper arm, and politely but firmly leads you deeper into the High District.
Yeah, there'll be no need for that, sir. There'll be no. I'm coming along.
He takes you along the riverside promenade. We'll get to what these houses are later. You'll almost certainly return from this excursion, Pastor Timothy. You go across the King's Bridge, a very defensible thing, another great invention by Ireland the Constructor. And you see the magnificent palace. This 3-story structure, just splendid. It's quite the sight to behold. And the guards...
And I am definitely very amazed by it all, and having seen it for the first time right now.
The guard says, look, this is just a formality. The Princess Athena likes to meet all the religious folk in the city. Why she does this is not for me to say. What is for me to say is you're an overtly religious person, and the wonderful Princess Athena likes to meet all the religious folks that come through here.
Oh, well, that's that's definitely lovely. I mean, I thought there was something wrong, but that sounds great. Let's lead on, Macduff.
Leads you up onto the top floor of the palace, to what he explains as Queen Athena's chambers. And you hear from inside the chambers, just as the guard is about to knock at the door, you hear a voice saying, "It's for strawberry pigs, not strawberry cupcakes, you ungrateful witch!" Then you hear the sound like a whack. And this servant girl leaves with blood just gushing down her nose. And the guard doesn't say anything. And he knocks on the door and says, "Princess Athena, what is it? How is it? I'm busy." "Princess Athena, my apologies, but you requested to see any religious figures that have joined the city. I present to you Pastor Timothy." "Wow, bring him in, let's have a look at you." And the guard helps you into the room, shall we say, and closes the door behind you. And you see the not classically Disney princess, Princess Athena Azanar. And you say,
Yeah.
"So you're religious, are you? Who do you worship?"
I'll bow and I'll say, "Your Grace."
That's what you should be doing. "Hey, kiss my ring!" And she momentarily turns her butt towards you before presenting her hand with a royal ring on her finger. "Kiss my ring."
I'll kiss the ring. It's very normal. And I'll say, "Your Grace, I am a follower of the Redeemer. The light of the Redeemer shines on us all. And may I say, it is wonderful to hear a young woman of your age be interested in such spiritual matters as religion. It does my heart proud."
"Oh, I just like to meet all the religious folks who come in here. Tell me, the Redeemer, wasn't that the shithead who doomed the place for a beautiful democracy for 500 years? What do you have to say about that? Is that what you plan to do? Overthrow the kingdom, set up a new theocracy? Is that what you're going to do?"
No, man. No, and I'll be the first to admit that the Redeemer's path is not a straightforward one. It's not one with no bumps in the road. I mean, but isn't that really the point, isn't it? You know, life is funny and strange, and it takes you to weird places, and we should never cease striving for redemption.
Redemption? What a line of horseshit. You think I need redeeming?
I think we all, every now and again, could do with the light of redemption in our lives. Yes, even the best of us. Your Honor.
You'll understand. You're talking to Princess Athena, and one day, I'm going to be the queen. And if you know anything about the monarchy, you know that what the queen says is law. If I say everybody should be beheaded for wearing ponytails, I fucking hate ponytails. That will be the law. So how could I possibly be redeemed if I am literally above the law?
Aye, but there's the law of the land, the law of the kingdom, and then there's the natural law that we all live under.
Bug,
Just
I
as-
make the law.
Aye, but there are laws that
Hey,
even you
bud.
cannot...
Oh, aye, bud. Are you arguing with the future queen of this kingdom? Show a little bit more respect.
I'm not arguing with you, Your Grace. I'm simply having a lively debate with a curious young mind.
Hey, man, see if you can tame the savage beast with a persuasion check. I like you, Pastor Timothy. You got a bit of spunk to you. Tell you what, I'm going to tell you a little secret. Do you like secrets, Pastor Timothy?
Oh, secrets between friends is lovely.
Oh, I didn't say we were friends. I'm the fucking princess, asshole.
That you are. That you are. I overstepped my bounds there, Princess. I apologize.
Come here, let me tell you a secret. And she goes to beckon you to, to whisper something in your ear.
Yep, and I'll come in close, yeah.
She's a bit on the rotund side as well, and she's kind of huffing and puffing and snorting and wheezing as she comes closer to you. It's a little unpleasant, and her breath smell has got a bad case of halitosis, I think it's called, very bad breath. And she breathes in your ear, and it's everything you can do not to pull away, but you know that this is the queen, well, the princess, soon to be queen, assuming she doesn't die off or something like that, like Prince Krasnar did. And she says, listen, Pastor Timothy, I know your type, looking to throw your religious weight around. You need to understand something. I am the princess, I will soon be queen, and what I say goes. When I say jump, you say how high.
Did we freeze?
Did we freeze?
Oh,
Are we still there?
Did I
Yep,
freeze?
thank you for it.
I don't know. I can hear you.
Oh, must have been somebody else freezing. So what I say is the law, and when I say jump, you say how high. Do you understand?
I understand very clearly, Princess. That is your prerogative
Too.
as the ruler of this kingdom. And I trust that you'll use this power wisely.
Don't move a muscle. And she bites down on your earlobe with a tremendous force, and it's tremendously painful. You feel the blood start trickling from your ear. What do you do, Pastor Timothy?
I yelp and jump away, and just in complete shock and surprise. Oh my God! What are you
I
doing?
told you not to move! And as you pull away, she rips off your earlobe and spits it out on the ground.
Oh.
I was using that.
Why did you move? You just agreed to do what I say. You have disobeyed the princess, she says as her mouth's covered in the blood from your ear. And it's quite a nasty gash. Very much Mike Tyson-esque in Evander Holyfield, that famous thing. But your earlobe is no more. Why did you move? I told you not to move.
I moved because you bid me, and as far as I'm concerned, I was not disobeying a princess. I was avoiding a nasty little brute. Now, Princess, I have been very circumspect. I believe I have been very circumspect and given you a lot of respect and leeway during this our conversation. But there are some things that young people need to hear, and one of them is that you need to respect your elders and you need to respect the private space, the spaces of other people, and their bodies. Their bodies are their own to do with as they please, not your playthings. Now, perhaps no one's told you that before, and that's a shame, because sometimes young people need to be told these things. Now,
persuasion check. Another persuasion check for me, Timothy.
And I'd just like to add at the end of that, and seeing as it's your 16th birthday, your birthday coming up, Princess, I would like to give you the gift of a little bit of self-awareness to see that see yourself as other people might see you.
Disobeyed your princess. You are nobody to give me a lecture. I am above you. What I say is rule. Guards, take him away. And 3 rather burly-looking guards come and grab you and start dragging you away.
I'm going to let them drag me away, and when I'm out of earshot of the princess, I'm just going to say one of the guards, well, she's a real piece of work, isn't she?
The princess is beautiful and wise beyond her years.
Yes, yeah. Yes, exactly. Can't be easy working for someone so wise and beautiful, though, can it? I feel for you, my son.
This is a matter for the Red Cloaks now, and the guards take you. The rest of you sees Pastor Timothy, earlobeless. What have I taken this session? An earlobe and an eyeball. Fantastic.
Yep.
And they drag Pastor Timothy all the way over to number 60, Halls of the Lawgiver. Well, this is a turn up for the books. I've never had a visitor arrested like this on one of my tours. This is terrible. What did the rest of you guys do?
Yeah. I talked to Wordsmith and say, wouldn't happen to have anything to do with the fact that you might not have taken anyone religious on these tours before, would it?
We have, but they come back looking a little ashen. But the princess is wise and beautiful beyond her years. I look forward to her ruling the kingdom, he says with no conviction whatsoever.
Well, is there anything we can do? He's in the hands of the guards. I mean, I don't want to rock the boat or anything, but
well, this is
he
perhaps
seemed like a nice enough fellow.
Well, this is perhaps a good chance to learn about the city. Let's follow along, and we'll see how the process is. And Pastor Timothy, you're taken to the halls of the lawgiver, and a person called a Red Cloak, who introduces himself as Nathal Wester, says, "Okay, guards, hand him over to me. Let me know what has happened." And they give a brief recount of the story. And Nathal Wester says, "Well, Pastor Timothy, you'll have your right to respond. My name is Nathan Wester. I'm a Red Cloak, one of about 50 in the city. The Red Cloaks are a combination. We are both law givers. We know the law backwards, and we have the power to pronounce sentence. So we are both a police force and a court all rolled into one. I am the judge. So please, let me hear your side of the story, Pastor Timothy."
First of all, Mr. Wester, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to ask you one question. Do you believe the princess to be all beautiful and wise and all that?
To be under the misapprehension that this is some type of conversation. I am the law. I am the judge. Please recount your story of your version of events.
Well, right. Oh, well, I was brought before the princess, and we started what was a very charming, pleasant conversation, and then she bit me ear off and got mad at me for reacting in some manner. It was very disconcerting to say the least. Now it's on my ear.
Well, your ear is obvious for everybody to see, or your lack thereof. Just your earlobe, though, not your whole ear. Nathal Wester, will you understand that, according to the guard's perspective, you argued with the princess? Do you perhaps think that was an unwise thing to do?
Perhaps from a self-preservation standpoint, it was not the most politic move, but it seems to me that princess has not been argued with enough in her life. And for someone who's going to be queen one day, I believe that perhaps people should be showing here maybe a little bit more guidance in the ways of things and the ways to behave around people and towards people. It's not her fault that she's spoiled. Probably.
Perhaps. If I was you, I would enter the Battle of the Champions. You look like a bit of a scrawny guy, but if you're lucky enough to win the tournament, you'll get an audience with King Waldron Azanar. Perhaps you can give him some parenting advice then.
Oh, my mouth has got me enough trouble today, Mr. Webster. But I do appreciate your suggestion.
According to the law, arguing with a member of the royalty is most definitely a crime of which you have been found guilty of it. I sentence you to a fine of 500 gold pieces to be paid within the week. If you cannot pay the 500 gold pieces within the week, you'll be sent to the quarry at the south end of town, the Starbra's Quarry and Penitentiary, where you'll be sentenced to 1 year of hard labor. That is the ruling of I, Nathal Wester, the Red Cloak. That is all. 500 gold pieces within a week, or 1 year of hard labor in the quarry. I suggest you pay up.
Well, if that's your word and that's the law, then that's what's got to happen. I thank you for your time, Mr. Wester, and your consideration.
You are dismissed. And you head back out into the Sword District. It's very much the industrial heart of the city.
Yeah. And as I'm walking by myself, I'm just muttering, fuck, under my breath until I'm close to someone who could possibly hear me and I stop. Because it's not, you shouldn't hear a priest say that. I'll try to rejoin the party.
Sure.
But did we see that, Malcolm? The interaction with the lawgiver, not the.
I'll say no. No, you're just a bunch of nobodies. You can't, just go across these very official proceedings. Does Pastor Timothy relate what happened?
Oh, gentlemen, I definitely do. I seem to have landed myself in a little bit of hot water, gentlemen, to the tune of 500 gold pieces. It seems that the princess does not like it when you don't let them bite off your ear, and it's a funny place, this city.
Is it true that she's as beautiful as they say?
I think Possibly people around here have a different beauty standard to most other folks that I've met. I couldn't say for sure, though. I mean, she was certainly very striking looking. You wouldn't miss her in a crowd. Let me say that.
By the way, I think I mentioned this last week, but all the NPCs that I'm sharing with you are based on people who backed the Kickstarter for the campaign. If you pledged a certain amount, then your likeness was used for an NPC. And I always used to joke that Princess Athena, surely they just made her up on the spot, because, you know. But apparently, someone said, make her look like an ugly version of me. And this is, in fact, based on a real person who looks approximately like her, but obviously not quite as unique as Princess Athena.
I thought that story was going to end with you saying that was you.
No. They're coming up with a new book called Spectre of the Lightbringer. I'm going to see how much the pledges are, and I might get my likeness in the book. We'll see. It's too expensive, I won't, but we'll try. So, yes, anyway, based on a real person, Princess Athena, but one assumes you've taken on some
creative license.
Creative license, yes. Well, that was this has been quite the tour. Shall we carry on through the Noble District then? And yes. So Wordsplasher talks to the guards, and you see him. No, he doesn't. He just talks to the guard, and eventually they begrudgingly let you guys in to the High District. And the High District is magnificent. The houses are mansions, the gardens are pristine, and the guards, Spectre, like the thing you hold in your hand, Scepter of the Lightbringer, Scepter.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, I thought it was you were doing something more Bond-esque, but okay, carry on.
Scepter. I see what you're saying. Yes, and the guards here are very well armored with plate armor, and they're very. I mean, some of the guards you've seen, you know, they're just average guys, but these are very, very well high-trained individuals.
How do they react to talk when they see talk?
A lot of nods.
20 years. I doubt they remember me.
That would be fair. It's more like the legend of Torque at this point. People know what Torque did, but he's been absent. But some of them give you sideway glances, suspecting the rumors might be true and that Torque is back, and some of them grudgingly give you a head nod, and you've got no idea who they are. Wordsplasher goes on to explain, oh yes, these are the guards. They are very highly paid. You notice the obvious way to get in here would be to bribe your way in there. You'll notice I didn't do that. These guards are well paid beyond reproach. But anyway, here is the noble district. So here's the Gorso Villa. Rumours had it that a goblin... Oh, sorry, not the Gorso. Yes, the Gorso Villa. This is the villa of the famous Gorso family. Unfortunately, they've abandoned their mansion for decades now. That villa's been uninhabited. Apparently, they took their operations and just purely do business within their own city. And you see the Gorso Villa. It's the exception to the place is overgrown. Some of the walls look rotten. Well, the walls still look good, but vines have crept up them. The gardens are overgrown. So, yes, as I said, the Gorso family hasn't lived here for decades. Rumor has it that a Gorso will be visiting here in celebration of the King's Games. They're always invited, never turn up, but rumors are that some uppity muck from the Gorso family will visit this year. There's also the Goldtooth Villa. This is the one owned by goblins. Apparently a goblin saved a queen a while back, and she granted him lordship. And you see the gold-toothed villa also stands out. It's almost like an Art Deco piece with weird shaped extensions, seemingly almost to defy gravity, almost Dr. Seuss-esque. And he also takes you across the bridges, takes you to the palace. You see the palace from the outside. And at 66 is the tomb of the first king. This is King Rasnil Velis Valkar I, the very first monarch of the kingdom. And you see a beautiful sculpture of the king, and engraving on the rock is a single line that says, "Order is our solid foundations." And Wordsplasher says, it is traditional to run your fingers over the phrase there and say it out loud. Considered bad luck if you don't. And you see Wordsplasher himself trace out the words with his finger, "Order is our solid foundation," and encourages you to do the same.
Belson does it, but doesn't say the words, he just mouths the words.
So I will run my finger across the lines of that, feeling out the letters.
Hector?
I'm thinking very hard.
Yeah?
Not really paying attention.
While you're thinking, what does Pastor Timothy do? He's the other hand.
Yeah, I'm still in shock at being 500 gold pieces in debt on my first afternoon in the city. I'm also looking across the river towards our house and thinking about it.
Cool. Oh, it is really considered bad luck, Pastor Timothy. Would you mind? I just don't feel comfortable you're not at least tracing the words with your fingers.
Oh, sorry, sure, yes, sorry, I was a million miles away. Of course. Far be it from me to stand in front of tradition. And I'll do it.
Now, what about you, young sir? As I said, I'd be dreadfully uncomfortable. It's considered bad luck for visitors not to do this. Please.
Fine, yes.
Hey. Excuse me. And as you cross over the bridge, over the so-called Queen's Bridge, which is similar to the King's Bridge to the north, you see some other things there. There's the Caramosa Villa, beautiful gardens, and there's gems on their gate implying they're gems. There's the Wiltema Manor, perhaps the finest of all the manors. Their wealth is legendary. It's just the two husband and wife. They have no heirs. And this is the people who are running the Wiltema Ball, of which you've heard about before. And they've been around since the foundation of the kingdom itself. So the Wiltema noble line extends back 500 years, which has been how long the monarchy has been here. And you also see the Domorin Mansion. Now, the Domorin Mansion kind of stands out. If you remember, this was the rather rotund gentleman who invited you to the pre-ball party. He claimed himself as a Domorin. The Domorin Mansion is in a slight state of disrepair. Some of the gardens is a little bit overgrown. Some of the windows, one of the windows is boarded over. So it still speaks of wealth, but it perhaps speaks of wealth draining. They're not quite able to maintain the incredibly expensive standards of which they're expected to hold. Sorry, I missed one thing. I'm just going to rewind it. As you pass by, this area here, this 37, you see an orc come out. What's his name? And he looks like this. God damn it, cheating bastard! What am I gonna do? Hey, you lot! Do any of you know how to run a kitchen? How to chop an onion? How to do anything related to kitchen work? Let me rephrase. I'm prepared to pay 100 gold pieces to people who can help me out.
Belson, well, I've learned how to chop an onion or two on the road, if you'll have me. Pastor Timothy, you seem to be in awful need of 100 gold pieces. Would you care to join me? How long is this work for, can I say?
I don't know if you've been familiar with my work, but I am perhaps the greatest chef in all the kingdom. I run a very exclusive establishment called the Weary Ogre, where people come from miles away to submit to my cuisine. Someone who perhaps would disagree with me is the arsehole Bandaro. We're to have a battle of the chefs between the two of us to decide who is the greatest chef, which happens in a couple of nights' time. See, the problem is, he's gone and bribed all my sous chefs, and they've all buggered off. He's gone and gone to my finest meat suppliers, and they're not going to give me the finest cuts of meat. So I'm down to 0 staff, and I'm looking for people to help me prepare the foods, a sous chef as it were. I'm looking for security. I'm looking for an MC for the event. And as I said, you look like a bunch of likely lads. 100 gold pieces ahead.
Well, I am in dire need. I'll have to accept your offer of employment, Mr. Exquisite. Mr. the Exquisite.
Just Ozara's fine. Look, just get your scrawny asses here in 2 nights' time and help me out. And if I win the competition, there'll be a bit of a bonus for you. And get this, the winner of this competition, me or that arsehole Bandaro, is going to be the personal cook for Princess Athena herself. Fantastic.
What? Have you met the princess, Mr. the Exquisite? I don't know if this is such a prize.
The princess has unique taste buds. I have cooked for her before. And she has a very particular palate.
I think I could say that I have provided food for her as well. She has a very peculiar palate, yes.
Look,
but
friend,
as long as you know what you're getting yourself into.
Look, friend, let me speak frankly. Number 1, the princess is beautiful. The princess is wise. I look forward to her ruling the kingdom one day. I know what she's like. I know she is difficult. I know she is headstrong. I've met her before. But to simply win this competition and being known as the greatest chef of the kingdom, even if it means cooking for her in her particular palate, that is a risk I'm willing to take. The glory is going to be too much.
Well, Mr. the Exquisite, let us help you. What a dream. What a fine dream to have.
Just.
Mhm. Yep.
Just to think, we had Pastor Timothy had committed himself to the Dameron ball or pre-ball.
Which is tonight.
That's not in 2 nights' time.
That's
It's tonight.
It's tonight.
Right. Okay. Oh, well, that's all right then. I just on my notes there I had written it down as 2 nights. Okay.
T-O
Thank you.
Rather
night.
than 2 night. Yeah.
Yes, so it's tonight.
I say to Azar as well, as if we don't do it as a group, I'm sure I can rally some friends who are well used to entertaining people through fine food and other. Yeah, the more the merrier.
I'll bring them along. I'll need to okay them, of course, but I'm really terribly short-handed, so anybody you can bring along would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So you plan to bring along some vagabonds, I'm assuming?
Potentially.
Okay. All right. So, this is the... I don't know if you want to rescue Byra or not, but if you were to leave first thing in the morning, it'd be a day's travel to Willow Creek and then a day's travel back, which would give you enough time to do the cooking competition, the master chef, as it were.
Yeah, that sounds good. I've got no real desire to go to a ball.
As much as I would not like dragging either the monster's corpse or hers, we need the money. I'm prepared to give all of our fund to you. I reckon we get Baleson here to help us. We offer him 40% and the glory capturing this monster. I should sway him.
Well, actually, Baleson's going to talk to Pastor Timothy, and he's heard his story and that sort of thing, and he just says discreetly, "Don't you just hate it when these people do this? Don't worry, I'll do everything I can to help you out."
That is... Oh,
Yeah.
the
But
day
Baleston,
the day I've had Mr. Baleson, I needed that. I really did. Thank you very much.
and Baleson, though, is really keen to touch base with his others, if he can, to let them know of what's going out and around and that sort of thing, and yeah.
Well, perhaps it might prove some of us to go into the monster menagerie and speak to the zookeeper, see if we can work something out on that end.
Have we crossed the river after this and seen the state of affairs with old Zajir's mansion, that it's not quite as well to do as the others?
Yep.
So what Baleson intends to do is to make contact with his if the tour is over, he intends to make contact. Okay, sweet. So he's got an intention to catch up with his people before they go on this rescue mission.
Okay, put it this way. There's a couple, really only one more thing. Two more things, and then the tour will be over. But you'll have some time between the tour being over and the pre-ball Domarin affair to start. So you can have some time to do it if you like. So there'll be opportunities to do that. Okay, so having some cooking competition to take part in. Wordsplasher briefly takes you through the Sword District, saying this is just the industrial area, very much what every city needs, but nobody wants a part of. Like there's a temporary jail here, for example. There's a forge here. There's lawgivers here. So very much functional, but not that interesting. Then you move into the South District. Now, Wordsplasher goes on to explain, everybody please be on guard. There are guards here, but they're more interested in working the populace for bribes and so on. And you see this place is not nearly as well kept as any other place in the district. The roads are dirty. When it rains, the roads are muddy. There's no cobblestones to prevent that. Very poor, lot of low-income housing here. Not as poor as the slum outside the gates, the shanties, but still a desperately poor area of the cities. But there's a couple of things I wish to show you here. Now remember I said that the wall, the old wall built by the Dark Angels is quite a tricky thing. And this is perhaps the most obvious part of the city. This is the so-called Alley of Menace. Rumors are that it's haunted. It's believed to be cursed. Residents avoid it and basically don't go in there. And Asher and Gasha says, "Oh, what a whole load heap of crap! Who would honestly believe that? This is just the biggest load of nonsense I've ever heard in my life." And they immediately rush in to the Alley of Menace. You hear some snarling, you hear some growling, and two possessed, it seems, gnolls. They're unpleasant at the start, but now their mouth is frothing, and their eyes are bloodshot, and they start lurching towards you. And that is correct. We are about to do our first.
Roll for
Wowee.
Yeah.
All right, click on self.
Click on self.
Click on initiative.
There we go.
I should roll Wordsplasher on, I guess. He's a natural one for Wordsplasher.
A natural one for me
Oh,
as well.
does. Oh no, sorry, I thought the natural one was him. He rolled a 13. He's doing better than you.
Oh, I rolled a 3, but it added 10 to it for some reason. Because I rolled a natural 1 and looking at it here, but it's sent it over as a 13, but it should be a 3.
Well, your second roll was a 13.
Oh, was it? Did it roll twice? Did it? Oh, okay, that's what happened. Cool.
we'll
My
just
first roll was a. Yeah, I'll change it. There we go.
Okay, and then the thing you see, Bale, since turn is done. I'm going to remove that, but I won't do it right now. But
Yeah.
it's just an annoying thing that this thing I did does. But regardless, the two gnolls are completely ignoring the advice of a Wordsplasher. They rush into the temple. Unpleasant. Hector, I'll add you in, Hector. What did you roll for your initiative, Hector? 18, okay. I got you, Mr. Tentacle Arm. Okay, so yes, ignoring the advice of Wordsplasher, they rush in and they come back snarling, looking completely different beasts. Torque, the Inquisitor, you are first to react to these transformed creatures. What do you do? You pause to think about it because the DM is losing his voice and needs to grab a glass of water. So let's pause just for a second. So, yes, possessed gnolls snarl and head towards you. Torque, perhaps having seen such dangerous creatures before, is the first to act. So is your first combat, Torque? No, not Torque's first Balson has been in combat before in this campaign. But Torque, what do you do, Torque? Enough for the preamble.
Only historically, many years hence. Since they have not actually belligerently launched an attack yet, I'll refrain from attack, so I'm going to do a prepared action, so a riposte, if you like, in the event that they attack us. I will advance forward and ask, and in the common tongue, say, settle Nasher and... Sorry, I missed the other name that rhymes with that. Right, okay, so I will advance forward 2 squares. If I can click on myself, can I move? I will advance to there, and I will prepare the action of, in the event of belligerence, I will launch a melee attack.
Sure, so any active aggression within your range, you will attack. Okay, Hector, I'll put you on a funny square there. Hector, what would you like to do?
I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to move up behind Pastor Timothy. I'll ready in action if Pastor Timothy is attacked, not Torque. I'll use Chromatic Orb and blast them away with fire. Don't care what happens to Torque.
So this is a leveled spell, right? Chromatic Orb?
Yep, level 1 spell.
Okay.
And use once for a long rest.
Sure. And just one minor note, since you're preparing a spell, if Pastor Timothy is not attacked, then you lose your spell slot.
Yeah.
So just a rule thing there, but sure.
Hello?
You might be better off using your other attack than prepared, your cantrip.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. I cut out.
You might have been...
If you read an action to cast a spell, you lose the spell even if the action doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So it might be better to use the cantrip.
Fine. I'll use Shocking Grasp instead.
So, no big deal if you lose it, and you stay right there, maybe move there to protect Pastor Timothy? Is that cool,
yes.
Hector? Yeah, okay, cool. Okay. The gnolls, Gasher and Nasher, look like fairly mindless beasts. This one here can only go for Torque. So Torque, it advances towards you. Your action immediately goes off. So Torque, feel free to take a swing. With a flail. And the creatures, unlike traditional gnolls, I guess, they're wearing some type of armor, and it just hits their armor. And the creature doesn't even bother dodging out of the way. And it's carrying a spear and just going to try and stick you with the spear. It babbles something incoherently at you, Torque. It's just completely lost its mind, in your opinion. But he takes his spear, tries to dig it into you, and rolls an 11, which will be a miss. The second gnoll.
No Gallagher?
No Gallagher, perhaps? Now I'm trying to decide whether to attack Pastor Timothy or Torque, because ganging up on Torque would be an interesting tactic. So I tell you what, 1 to 2, it attacks Pastor Timothy. Attacks Pastor Timothy. So the other one just lumbers over and appears to attack Pastor Timothy. Hector, that will be your prepared action, so feel free to Shocking Grasp the creature. Oh, Shocking Grasp absolutely hits.
Giga.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 8 points of damage. Nice roll. Now, one other thing with shocking
outcome.
With Shocking Grasp, it loses its reaction as well. So you can retreat if you like, Hector, without invoking an attack of opportunity.
I will retreat back.
So I guess thematically the gnoll tries to take a swipe at you, but you can still smell burnt fur and it gets distracted. Wordsplasher said, I told them not to do this, the damn fools! And he comes down here and takes the dodge action, just completely not interested in this, looking a little terrified. Pastor Timothy.
Does no Gallagher still get his action?
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Takes his spear, tries to stick you with it, and rolls a natural 1.
Oh my gosh.
You're right, thank you for the reminder, though. You're right. Pastor Timothy, what would you like to do?
I'm going to... Pastor Timothy says, fuck, back. And retreats back. Here. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. It seems reasonable. And... It says... Come on, you boys, you've got this. I reckon you got this. You're doing really well. That was a great move, Hector. Talk, you're looking really strong right now. And yeah, dodge action, I guess.
Dodge action? Okay, so retreating back. Maybe this is the first life or death fight Pastor Timothy's ever been in. Bowson, you might have seen this thing before. What would you like to do?
I'm going to run past the one with no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Run past that guy. Maybe go 6. And attack this guy down here with talk.
Can you make me a wisdom saving throw, please, as you enter the Alley of Menace?
Oh, that orange thing there. Wisdom save. Oh, my favourite. Does a 6 do it?
No. You're momentarily... So at the start of your turn, you get confused about friend or foe, and we'll get to that on your turn, but that's your action, as it were, getting possessed. So
Okay, cool.
you all watch Baleson rush in, and a similar thing overcomes him than does the creatures. Torque, what do you do?
Alright, well, so if I was to step forward next to that would put me in this square here, would put me in this alley. One diagonally in front of me. This one.
This one? No. Well, put it this way.
You can certainly try.
I can certainly try. I certainly will. Well, for a start, we will flail the one in front of me.
15 hits. The flail, nice. Got it. Once again, the creature's so mad it barely reacts to it, and it's just the bloodlust as it was for you. I guess at first level that's all you can do, Torque. Alright, Hector, what you got?
I'm going to move up, go for a unarmed strike, too, because I can do it as a bonus action.
Probably that's an untentacled strike.
Oh, nice.
Should I roll
Punch.
both now, or
Yeah. You
do I do
always
that
get
after?
a bonus action for an additional unarmed strike if you like. And the first one hits, but the second one, a big roundhouse, swings over the top of the knoll. So roll damage for the first one. Oh, great punch to the nose. And he's looking pretty rough. But as you punch
Down,
him,
boy.
well, we'll do this one first anyway. It looks like you're and lets out a growl, almost like a howl, and comes at you and takes its spear, which it's wielding two-handed, and goes to I almost feel bad doing this, but that's a natural 20.
No.
Now, they say about natural 20s at level 1, right? They're not good.
Natural 20.
Oh, wow. So mechanically, that was 2d8 plus 2 damage. So that could have 16. Well, it instant killed you, but you survive it. Actually, you take 9 points of damage. 6 plus 3. Not what did I roll on the dice? A 4 and a 3. Not the best, but still 9 points of damage as he gets you and puts a spear deep in your guts and springs, pulls it out, and a spray of blood goes everywhere. The other gnoll takes a swing with its spear. Excuse me, at Torque. And
Hector or Torque?
Torque. No, I already did Hector. Hector was the first attack. And now this one is attacking Torque. I just did it in the opposite direction because.
Okay, so Hector.
Well, who took the damage then?
Hector takes 9 points of damage.
Oh, okay. So not me then. All right. No. Sorry, I thought you were doing me in the same order. All right, my bad. Well, let's re-establish those points.
Yeah, and this might be a short campaign, guys, because I rolled another natural 20.
Oh,
have a look at the chat.
Gosh.
Oh, excuse me. All right. So, you take 8 points of damage. Once again, it could have been a lot worse, but I rolled a 1 and a 5. Okay, so 8 points of damage as these two gnolls just go about gutting Hector and Torque. Wordsplasher says, no. Pastor Timothy.
Oh my gosh. And it was traumatic the first time it ever happened, but seeing my new friends being kind of gutted by these two dudes unleashes this bolt of chaos from me again, and I attack the one next to Torque. Oh.
Chaos bolt just flies wide. No good.
Oh, no good. I'm gonna run in. Run in here and say, "You leave them alone. You want to fight me."
I might just do that.
Okay, so Chaos Bolt, and you just come and say, fight me. Let me just check the rules on Possessed Balsan. Balsan, make me another Wisdom saving throw.
Cool. Oh my gosh. 0.
Well, you have completely lost it, and you need to attack the thing that is closest to you, that's this guy. Which is useful. Yep.
Do I get to add my sneak attack, or is it just I'm mindless, so I'm just attacking as per normal?
I don't think Torque or Pastor Timothy would be technically allies to you at the moment, so no sneak attack.
There we go. No, fair enough. 12 plus 5 is 17.
It hits.
Okay. No, it's doing that thing again. So a d6 plus 3. Oh, 9 points of damage.
What are you attacking with?
A short sword.
A short sword, okay. So nice short sword to his back. Torque. Balsan doesn't seem himself, not that you know him very well, but he is attacking this creature here. What do you do?
Right, well, again, he hasn't gone mad in the sense that I've seen, so I will attempt to flail This knoll again.
17 hits. And the flail just rips the flesh off this Gnasher. We'll say this one's Gnasher. And he falls down in a bloody heap. Stay there, Torque?
I will. Yeah, I'm not going to move from here. Yep.
Staying right there. Excellent. So the first of these possessed gnolls fall. Hector, over taking a massive blow from this gnoll. What do you do? You unmute yourself, which is great. You can unmute yourself if you like, but you miss horribly on both of your attacks.
Oh, horribly.
The second one was horrible.
Oh,
The first one was kind of cool.
Just misses the first one. You flail at this thing, and it kind of laughs back in your face. And gonna stab you with its short sword. Oh, sorry, with its spear. And rolls an 18. You watch as this creature takes the spear, runs it through Hector's stomach, pulls up. Hector grasps his stomach and falls to the ground, bleeding out. Wordsplasher says, No, I've never lost her. I've never lost a visitor before, and this shan't be the first day. And he's going to
deal to this. I'm going to whip out my dagger and stab. I've only known you for a day, but I can tell.
Right. Plus. Oh, right. Plus. Oh, well, look at him rolling rocks. 9 points of damage to Pastor Timothy.
That's me down.
Oh, crikey.
Okay. You made your resistance. Okay, Torque. Pastor Timothy collapses in a heap in front of you. What do you do?
I'm going to lay hands on him for 1 point of healing.
Yes.
I'm going to move diagonally and risk the opportunity attack of Balson is taking one to move here.
Do I get an opportunity attack?
Yes, you do.
Oh, crikey dick. Roll low.
You've been rolling really well, it must be said. Oh!
17 plus 5 is 22.
Right. So that's a hit.
That's a 7 points of damage.
Right, well that would put me down then as well.
Oh my god.
Hector! Make me, Hector! Roll me a, type this into chat, Hector.
Oh my gosh. Balson, I'm a party killer.
Real party pooper.
Type that into chat, Riley.
I like when you call me Big Pooper.
Okay, the gnoll is going to... See, he's down. It's got to go for Balson. Comes at Balson with his spear. Two-handed spear. So what was in that rolling? And Balson, I assume a 10 misses, so that misses.
Yep.
Wordsplasher. It's going to attempt to stabilize Hector again. Hector, you are not dying, so you are stable. And
Pastor Timothy can take an action.
Wordsplasher is going to come over here next to Torque, ready to help Torque out. So who's down? Torque and Timothy. But just Torque actually.
Timothy.
No, Torque.
Yeah, Torque did lay hands on Timothy, so Timothy's got 1 hit point. Okay. Yeah. There's nothing else for it, but another attempt at a Chaos Bolt with the other spell slot on the Noel Gallagher. That's a little bit better.
That's enough to hit your Chaos Bolt.
Oh, excellent. Where is this?
Oh. And with that, the Chaos Bolt hits the Gnoll directly in the chest. He gets flinged back against his barrels, which shatter, and he dies. I would say, how do you want to do this? But we'll get there in a second. Pastor Timothy, is that your action?
Well, I believe because the Chaos Bolt, I rolled the same number on both D8s. The chaotic energy links the target to a different creature of my choice within 30 feet of it. Make a new roll. So, I'm sorry, Bailson, but you're not of yourself right now.
Okay, so what do I need to make?
No, you don't get to make us an attack roll.
Oh, cool.
New attack. Make a new damage roll. And
I'm down, but I've got my orcish bounce back.
So you're at 1 hit point.
So I'm at 1 hit point.
Okay.
And I'm prone, though. I think I go prone. Oh, do I go prone? Hold on.
No, you don't. You don't.
Are you still possessed if you've been down and back up?
Relentless endurance.
Technically,
you haven't been down.
But I'm not killed. I can drop to 1 HP.
Yeah.
I dropped 1 HP.
And I put my hands out and say, Bailson, come on, I had to do it. Just calm down, man, calm down.
So make a wisdom saving throw at advantage, for goodness sakes. The pleading of Pastor Timothy.
Here we go, 14.
What the hell are you doing, Bailson? You regain control of your senses.
What? This is not like me. Oh my goodness! What's happened? He runs away from the orange. 1, 2, 3. Tries to. Is Torque still down, or is he being stabilized at all?
Torque's still on his way to meet his maker.
He tries his best to stabilize him. The medicine -1.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a 3. He's just punching him in the stomach, trying to do well.
Live, man, live!
I don't know whether Pastor Timothy still thinks I'm possessed.
All right, Torque. Privately roll me a death saving throw by typing that into chat.
Oh.
Okay. And Pastor Timothy, there we go. Torque is stable. And with that, a
low combat.
A low level. Let's get everybody a practice at playing their characters, and it almost ends up as a TPK. There we go.
Gosh. I thought I was being so clever. I was going to use my sneak attack and, the big sort of glass cannon of thieves at the beginning of the thing. Just didn't work out. It worked out really well, actually. You showed how impressive I was at dealing damage, too.
You were rolling so well, my goodness.
I was going to use my lay hands to remove the condition from you until you wiped out the party.
Mr. Wordsplasher, you say this is called the Alley of Menace. I think you should maybe leave this off your tour in the future.
warned them not to go in there, and they went in there. But I think you're right. It's just not worth it. I'm dreadfully sorry. I tell you what, the next stop on our journey was the Temple of Life, and bring old Torque and Hector along, and I'm sure Ottmir Onomail can perform some healing magic on them. That's kind of his thing.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yep. Okay, let's go.
Right. I'll struggle with Timothy. with Hector.
I'll pick up Talk. Sling him over my shoulder like it ain't no thing. Wait, before that happens though, he is going to look through the Noel's belongings to see if there's anything worthwhile taking.
Like
Waste not
500 gold pieces?
Yeah. We've solved it. Do the Knolls have anything of value?
Just looking it up now.
Alright, cool.
A spear.
Oh, no. We'll leave those spears. Yep.
Okay, so putting Hector and Torque over your shoulders, you head across the city to the Temple of Life, which is
123.
123, there we go, the Temple of Life. And the first thing you notice about the Temple of Life is... Oh, actually I have a map here. It is in kind of bordering the South District there. And you notice there here is the destitute, the poor, the weak, the hungry. And you see various acolytes wandering around giving food to the poor. And once you're in there, you'll notice a sleeping area where the poor can, get a... This is a place where you can get a free meal and a place to lay your head. Run... Who knows how it's run? But as you approach Oathbreaker Onomail, who once again helped bring back Torque the Inquisitor, a dwarven fellow, and he says, "Oh, welcome, my friends. It is, oh my goodness, Torque, you look shittier than the day you arrived. On your friend, Hector, do you think your arm will be revealed in your unconscious state, or do you think it would still be well hidden?"
Let's roll for it. See how good my stealth is.
Sure. That beats a passive perception of 10, so we'll say your octopus arm is still well hidden. So, oh my, Wordsplasher, bring them in. And you all enter the temple. Some of you carried, some of you not. And Hector, you are healed for this plus 1 hit point. You're healed for 9 hit points. And Torque, same deal with you. You're healed for 8 hit points. And
thank you.
Torque, my old friend, what have you got yourself into this time?
On the tour, we were taken down to that alley, and 2 of the foolish gnolls that were accompanying us ran in, came out like slithering beasts, and nearly tore us apart.
Oh, that is most unfortunate. Oh, I'm glad you'll have made it here to the Temple of Life. Are these your companions?
On the tours, yes. I've found these men, a man of the cloth and his son, and this entertainer who's here with his troop. I believe, to visit the city. But it was interesting to see the sights and see how much it has changed. I hardly recognise the place.
Well, you're gone for a long time, lad. I mean, once we got you conscious, there was a matter of getting you moving again. You know, there were long, hard days, but I'm pleased you didn't instantly get yourself killed, you daft bastard, as soon as you left my care.
Well, I felt like I should have been able to easily handle 2 simple gnolls, as ravaged as they were, but sadly my skills have long since deserted me. I shall have to train and train again to regain those skills.
Oh, you're not the tiefling you used to be, Talk. Let's make no two bones about it. Your sword and your blade were feared across the kingdom, and you would have taken down an army of gnolls, so you've got a way to go, lad.
But I'm forever in your debt once more. And if any way that I or the efficient master may help you or serve you, then I pledge myself to you.
Of course, I appreciate it. And I see a fellow man of the cloth. What is your name, Father?
My name's Pastor Timothy. I'm a long way from home, and I thank you for your hospitality here, healing my son, and it's good to see another man, another follower of the Redeemer. The light of the Redeemer.
Be upon you too. Yes, of course. And as Talk will no doubt let you know, we accept. Anybody can get a free meal here, a place to lay their head. We get a lot of people from here in the South District, a lot of people from here in the even from the shanties, the slum cities. As you should know, everybody is welcome here. And while I admit it was quite fortuitous that you came, usually my healing magic has been used up by this time, so thank the Redeemer that you came at the right time.
Yes. All praise to the Redeemer. I do have, being new to the city, I have a few questions for you, Mr. Honormail, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course, lad.
Now, it's been a very spicy afternoon with this fight and me being found guilty of insulting the arguing with the princess and fined 500 gold pieces to be paid within the week. I wondered if the church had any resources or ways of perhaps helping me with that.
We rely on donations from the noble classes, and they give us just enough to clothe and feed these poor souls. So while I sympathize with your predicament, I'm not in the position to help, I'm afraid.
You mistake me, Otmar. I wouldn't take anything from any of these fine people. I was just wondering if there's a way, like, that the church knows that I could maybe procure these funds. Anything needs doing around the town or around the city or even in the surrounding areas that might help me get to this.
Two things spring to mind. Number one, your friend Talk here is quite correct. You could always go with the moneylender Gulfer. That is not a path I would recommend, many of these people here have ended up in the shanties because of the debts they've owed Gulfer. While they've paid off their initial principal many times over, they are still hopelessly in debt. And Gulfer and his goons are known to go down even to the shanties, knock on doors, and take copper pieces from the hard-earned labour of the common folk there, I take it as his payment. So that is one option, Golfer. Number 2.
I wouldn't dare defeat such a parasite.
I would not dare to comment. He's an interesting fellow. The second person I'd recommend you talk to is a gentleman called Nethel the Wester. He is a red cloak. He is...
Nethel Wester. He's the lawgiver that pronounced the sentence upon me.
Well, I think he should thank the Redeemer that it was Nethel the Wester. In fact, that is unfair. All the red cloaks are good folks. They've studied the law for years, and they pass judgments fairly. I have no quibble with any one of the red cloaks. So Nethel Wester, he acted within the law. If you're looking...
I got the feeling that fair and just man working within the system that he is. Right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Nethel Wester is a good guy. But talk to him. He might have some jobs for you. He'd be the first person I'd talk to, Nethel Wester.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Oathbreaker, and thank you for your good work here as well.
I do have a bit of a problem. I was hoping you lads could help out with. I don't believe I've met you. What is your name, my half-orcan friend?
My name is Belson. It's nice to meet you, Otmar.
May the light of the Redeemer bless you and your friends here. And you,
yes,
lad?
Sure, yes.
And you, lad, what is your name? Your name is Hector, I hear.
It is.
What I am... Oh, is it... You can't help but... What have you done with your eye that isn't there, Hector? Have you put on an eye patch? Or are you just leaving it out and gruesome? How are you presenting your missing eye?
Kind of have it covered by my hoodie.
So it's
by
just
the hood of my...
Yeah, it's just kind of just in the shade of your hood and the hood over top of it. Alright, well, little Hector, the blessings of the Redeemer upon you. Well, now that we've got all the formalities out the way, and Hector, please the Redeemer saw it fit to hear you, and talk. We know the Redeemer's smile is upon you as well. I have a bit of a problem I was hoping you folks could help out with.
How will we be of service?
Wordsplasher says, well, that's the official end of the tour. I'd say be sure to come again, but that's not my business model. But spread the word! Wordsplasher gives the most interesting of city tours. Good day to you all. And Wordsplasher dashes away. Thankful that he's alive. Otmar continues on. Well, as you know, and you can look around you, we deal with the most destitute of the destitute. Not just the poor, but the poorest of the poor. These people are looked down upon society, rightfully, in my opinion. It is people down on their luck. They're not bad people, they do not deserve this. It's a string of bad luck. And I'm afraid this... There's no easy way to say this, but it seems limited to the Temple of Life. But on 3 separate occasions within the past 3 weeks, one of our guests, all of a sudden he started making strange squealing sounds. And then he fell to all fours as if he was walking like an animal. Then he turned pink and grew a snout and a curly tail. And as far as we can tell, he completely transformed into a pig. Now, we've had holy people look at him to reverse this, but he seems he's a pig. And in the opinion of people who have looked at him, he is not a human trapped in a pig body. He is a pig. And since then, this has happened on 3 separate occasions. Only here in the Temple of Life, people have turned into pigs. And for the life of me, I do not know why this is happening. So I'm not sure if any of you have an investigative eye, but if you could help us solve the problem of the people turning into pigs, it would be most appreciated.
Well, perhaps if this is some evil, I might be able to sense it out. So I'm going to attempt to use divine sense and to see if there is some trace of evil in the area.
Okay, so you put up your divine sense, detecting undead, celestial, and fiends, and do a run around of the church grounds. You detect no such entity. So nothing undead, nothing celestial, no fiends. Like that.
Balsam's going to look around for any markings that seem out of place. No, he's no particular, but he was going to have a look around for any form of curses or runes or anything like that.
Sure, make an investigation check as you give a once-over of the facilities. Yeah,
13.
No magical runes, no demonic circles, nothing like that.
Otmer, these three of your congregation who turned into pigs, so was there anything that connected the three? Did they know each other or have any other connection?
Well, the poorest of the poor is a community like everything else, and they knew each other, at least in passing. I wouldn't say they were friends or anything, but they knew each other. 2 were from the Shanties, 1 was from the South District.
Aye. And how did this happen in consecutive days or?
They're separated by approximately a week. Not exactly, not down to the minute and hour. One was 6 days and 8 days, that sort of thing. So this wasn't particularly regular.
And in that time frame, have you noticed anyone new, or maybe people who sticks out a little bit around here?
A lot of people come to Odenbeer seeking fame and fortune, and for the most part they fail, and some fail quite hard, and they inevitably end up here. So new faces, yes, but we're getting almost a constant stream of new faces. We give them time to get on their feet, and then they sometimes they do find their feet, and they no longer require our services. But new people, they come and go all the time.
Other families of these poor victims, were they with them at all, or did it just happen at a moment's notice?
Just at a moment's notice. I mean, people come here to eat and to sleep, and I'm not trying to be obtuse or anything, but it just happened. I mean, if it was something obvious, then I would be more forthcoming. But I'm
what became of these? What became of these pigs after they transformed?
As
Were
I
they
said
released
before,
into the wild?
we're quite short of funds, and we need any type of food we can. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That is a little redeemer joke. And he takes you to an outside paddock, and there are 3 pigs wandering around. Like as I said, we've had holy people look at this, trying to reverse it. And we suspect they're pigs in every possible sense, but maybe there's a way to bring them back from their pig-like state. So we treat them as pigs and feed them as pigs, but we simply do not have the heart to turn them into a side of bacon.
All right. Well, I will at least attempt another divine sense to see if there's any influence undue on them. I'll use another one now that I'm actually right next to them. Do I get any sense of celestial fiend?
Nope. Just pigs, it seems.
What is it, Altmer? Did it all? Where were they standing when it happened? Was it the same spot each time? I'm looking for commonalities between the 3 cases. You see.
Well, let's see. I mean, someone referred to this as a congregation, and it's not really a congregation. It's more a collection of disparate people. We do not insist they praise the Redeemer. We merely... thanks is all the payment we need. Let me see. Let's, they... and the commonalities between them. Let me think. Well, people come here for 2 reasons. One is a warm place to sleep. That's not particularly common at the moment. The people do sleep here. The nights outside are quite pleasant. And they have a meal. And that would be the commonalities. A meal and a sleep. That's... everybody does that here, though. It's not unique to those 3.
Right.
And who is it that does the preparation of the meals in here, although I feel I should know?
Oh, you know, old Trumbold. He is a cook. He's been a cook here for many years. He knows how to make a scant amount go a long way.
Right. And I don't suppose that these transformations occurred shortly after the meal, did they?
I don't know. Well, everybody ate, and then one of them turned into a pig. It wasn't like everybody who ate the food turned into a pig. It was just one person. But yeah, they did eat the food.
Well, perhaps it would be worthwhile to talk to old Trombold, and perhaps while we're there, maybe he could give us a hint or 2 on the food preparation, since we have volunteered to assist with the meal for Ozar the Exquisite.
An excellent idea, Talk.
This is old Trumbold up here, preparing food. And as you approach his kitchen, he says, "Oh, hello. What can I help you with? Quite busy here preparing a meal. As you understand, it is a lot of work to make a little go a long way."
Is there any way that we can assist? And we were seeking to gain some skills or familiarity with food preparation anyway.
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Skills.
Okay, Mr. Torque. I'd have offered to help out in the kitchen before, but sure. Come on and help me prepare. Get an insight check.
And
he is preparing a meal and he's asking you to chop up some things, but other things that you could very easily do, anybody could do, he's purposely making you not do them. Oh, no, you don't need to do that. There's a special way to cut that up. I'll cut that up.
So what is the thing that he's making me avoid cut up? Is it something that I recognise?
Make him, I'll say, nature check. This looks like some unusual root. You're not entirely sure what it is. You don't recognize it. It's not like a potato or anything like that. It's quite oddly shaped, quite black. It's okay. I'll chop up that. If you chop it the wrong way, it can really get under your fingernails.
Can you show me how it is properly prepared? I wish to learn.
And he chops it up in a particular way. Looks like quite a greasy root. And he plops it into this big stew that he's making.
And are the pieces, were they large chunks, or was it small and now evenly distributed throughout the food?
About a centimetre square.
So if the food was being handed out, is it likely that someone would get 2 or 3 pieces of this, given the amount that he had, or is it unlikely that they would get much of this in a ladle of the food?
Unlikely. He's using it sparingly.
Well, what do you call this root that you've added to the stew? I can't remember having it previously.
It's called Northwood moss.
Is that a name that seems familiar to me?
Make a nature check.
Can I make a nature check too?
Sure.
Now, Mr. Trumbold, I've only been around chefs a little bit for the last little while, but I've noticed that a lot of the best chefs make a point of tasting their food all the way through the process to make sure the seasoning is right and stuff like that. Is that something you hold with?
It's that in a second. We'll just deal with these nature checks. Cork, you've never heard of Northwood moss, and neither has balsam for that matter. But you know, you suspect it's a made-up name, like something he just made up there on the spot. And in your response to your question, Master Timothy, old Trumbold says, "Oh, look! This is for the common folk. I wouldn't dream of taking my share. I have my own sources of food. I would not dare to deprive the poor of this stew. As I said, I got to make it a little go a long way. Sure, you can incite that."
Yeah, I too would like to talk on that.
Sure. Master Timothy seems like an upright guy. Torque, he doesn't want to drink the stuff that he's made.
Are there any more of these roots around?
No, all in the stew.
Right.
Floating in the stew or just in the stew?
Some of them would be on the surface, I guess.
Okay, I'd like to grab one.
Sure. You reach into the hot stew and you take 1 point of heat damage. I've got a cube of this mysterious root vegetable thing. What do you do with it?
I think we should leave the underlying tension here. I'm gonna quickly shove it down his throat.
Make me an athletics or acrobatics check and beat a natural 20. Which is possible if you got a plus.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that because it's a minus.
Ah, no.
No, look, look, I found this recipe book. It was called, it's called Recipes of Corruption. And my wife found it, and I was too curious to try it out, and I didn't intend for these people to turn into pigs, but a curious mind I have, and I'm sure if I got the recipe correct next time and fed it to the pigs, it would have reversed their transformation. I am so sorry! And he falls to his ground and starts sobbing.
I'd like to inside that.
Yeah. You're not sure.
And where is this book that you spoke of?
Oh, look, my wife is Aunt Celebra. She had nothing to do with it. She found the book and locked it up. I profess her innocence before all the gods.
So she has the book?
She has the book, but I am the guilty party.
Well, we will need to gather the book, and I believe we need to take you in front of the lawgivers so that you might meet the justice you so richly deserve.
Of course.
I think the justice he deserves is to literally have a taste of his own medicine.
Otmir offers up. Well, this is what the red cloaks are for, lad.
That's not for us to say.
But if he's so convinced that he's able to find a cure for these good fellows which are so unjustly mistreated, then why not give him one more chance to fix his mistake? This is the temple of being redeemed, no?
But we are not the lawgivers here, the red cloaks are. And I feel honor bound to allow them to met out the justice that the king and this kingdom deems worthy.
If you truly believe in the Redemptor, you should take the chance.
Well, I'm not a follower of the Redemptor. I'm a follower of the efficient master, and I believe the lawgivers, the red cloaks here, are the efficient masters in this situation.
I'm talking to him. I'm trying to guilt him into eating it on his own accord.
No. Well, tell you what, make an intimidation check, Hector. No. I throw myself upon the mercies of the lawgivers. Before long, one of the acolytes also comes back and returns with Nathal Wester. Says, all right, what's going on here? And you can tell me all